Look at that.
I gotta get on it. I gotta get on it. But without further ado, let's get this baby started.
All right.
What's going on, guys? I am back with another episode of Big Guilty Podcast. We are here with my good friend, I gotta do it right, so I gotta do it right too. What's going on, guys? It's Martin Amaya. How would you rate that? How would you rate it? Like, how would you rate that right there? Like, how would you rate that?
Man. It's gonna be that's about so you had the excitement. I'm gonna say, okay, you got a point there. I'm gonna say that's about a 6.5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's not bad. Because you need that Texas plus that Mexican accent to really get it. You need that Texas Mexican accent to really get it going,
Yep. But I like the excitement.
So, Martine, if you don't mind hitting us with the famous intro without yelling at any birds or people.
What's going on, everybody? It is Martin Amaya, and we are back at it again here on Innocence Channel.
You know what? Like, I should cut that. I should cut that part right there, and
and then use it as the intro.
Yeah, as like an intro. Like as a voiceover.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do a remake of the intro. So the name of the channel is Innocence. What?
It's
Guilty.
Big Guilty Cigar Podcast.
Big Guilty Cigar Podcast. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, everybody? It is Martin Amaya. We are back at it again here on the Big Guilty Cigar Podcast.
I love that. I'm gonna cut that one.
That's the way to do it.
Yo,
see, I like to do a lot of just spur of the moment shit. I've always done that. I mean, I don't plan it. I just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And that's how my cigar reviews used to be.
So, all right. Well, since you brought it up now, you brought up the cigar reviews. So I'm pretty sure if you know that face right there, you remember Martin from his cigar review channel, which was taken down because YouTube is a bunch of haters. Like they hate on everything good and leave all the bad shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
And anything bad is left on YouTube and all the good shit is cut out. So when it first kind of happened, because we kind of predicted it was gonna happen.
We did.
We knew it was coming.
And we knew it was coming, but it was just all of a sudden channel after channel after channel.
Yeah.
Ban.
Yeah, it was literally they literally pulled like a John Wick and just kicked in the door into a room and just started spraying shots at everybody. And no matter how good you tried to be, they were coming for you. So they would look for stuff from 2 years ago just to give you a strike.
Right.
And I kind of feel like this chick that's running YouTube is really, of course, being.
How do you know it's a chick?
Well, it's some chick named Susan, I think, that runs it.
Wow, fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
That bitch.
Yeah,
fuck
man.
That bitch, Susie.
Yeah, man. But we all knew it was coming, but I think the most surprising thing was just why. We're not pushing it to kids. You're not gonna see a 16-year-old kid grab a cigar. They're gonna go for they're gonna go for cigarettes.
You're not gonna see a fucking teenager go and grab for a fucking cigar.
Exactly. And if they're gonna have a cigar, they're gonna have it with their dad. That's what I feel.
I mean, the only kids that are out there smoking cigars are in the fucking cigar industry.
Exactly. You know what?
I mean, you got people who have had young kids out in the farms.
Yeah.
Who are learning about the tobacco, and they fucking grab them. behind their father or their mother's back. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But here in the States, you don't see that shit. It's not
Exactly.
the same fucking thing.
It's two different worlds. It's two different regular, like everybody knows a kid that was smoking at 13 years old, just grabbing cigarettes. Like, and the thing too is that a cigar it's too long to smoke. Like,
Right.
what 14-year-old kid has 45 minutes to an hour?
Let me say this. Even fucking adults, you'll give a fucking cigar to, and you almost have to be like, okay, well, have you ever smoked a cigar? It's like you gotta fucking pre-screen them. Have you ever had a cigar before? Have
Exactly.
you what did you like about the cigar? What did you not like about the cigar? Are you committed to sit here for a fucking hour smoking a cigar before I give you my fucking cigars?
But
Because they'll smoke a little bit and then fucking put it down. I'm like,
exactly.
dude, I just fucking wasted a $8 to $15 cigar on you, and you didn't even smoke it.
Well, and the other thing is just like they're gonna have a horrible experience, and they're gonna end up throwing it out. They're gonna end up getting sick because like they don't. No kid knows between the difference between a Habano, a Sumatra. They're just gonna grab whatever it is.
Right.
And also too, like and kids are smoking, they're smoking Black and Mounds,
Yeah.
and kids think they like, at least in my opinion, I
Gas station cigars.
yes, like they feel like a Black and Mild cigarette. They don't know it's a cigar. So
Right.
like they're actually inhaling Black and Milds because they think it's a cigarette.
True.
So they think it's a sweeter cigarette. So that to me was always, or they're buying, blunt wraps. Like they're buying Philly blunts and what,
Mm-hmm.
what's
Fucking White Owls
yeah,
and
like they're buying stuff like that just to basically
little cigarillos, wood,
not not
wood,
not not, no, not even,
what do
not,
they
not even
call that?
cigarillos. They're buying like Philly Dutches. They're buying Dutches. And they buy the Dutch because all they're doing is cutting it out and getting rid of the tobacco and using that for rolling paper.
Right.
So they're not even smoking that. They're not even smoking the tobacco in it. So
True.
it's it to me the most interesting thing about the way things are changing now when it comes to just the flavored cigar ban is they're getting rid. Like I had no idea they're getting rid of Newports.
You had no idea what?
I had no idea. Like I had no idea that I never smoked them before. But my mom smokes. She smokes Newports. Everybody in my family smokes. On her side, smokes Newports. And
Okay.
I had no idea that Newports was menthol. So they're considered flavored tobacco. So
Mhm.
so they're gonna be going. Newports are gonna be going, which is a big hit to just that profit because Newport makes a killing. I don't know who owns Newport or anything like that, but dude, you go to any hood, that's the hood cigarette right there. You know,
Cigarettes never attracted me.
it
It may
me
have been just because I had friends who smoked.
yeah.
I didn't like the smell of it. Or, I mean, when you're growing up, you watch all these commercials. They talk about don't smoke, and then I remember one vivid commercial where there this kids at a party, and then a guy walks up to a girl, pretty girl, and then she puts a cigarette up to her mouth, and they cut back at him, and he's like taking a step back, and then they put the camera back on her, and she's got like a fish head, where she's all like
Mm-hmm.
puffing on this cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like watching these, and then at the same time, like I don't like the way that smells. I don't want to try that shit. It never really enticed me having friends who smoked.
So when I was a kid, um, I got like my cousin was smoking since he was like 13 years old, and he was like my running mate. So I hated the smell of cigarettes. So I think I was like maybe 10, 11, and I went and pulled on one cigar. I coughed for like 3 days. It was the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever. Like I was like, yo, I'm never smoking. I'm never smoking a cigarette. Like the only thing I've ever smoked was cigars. I've never smoked weed. You know, never. I can't even. I've never done hookah either. So the only thing,
Hookah's good.
yeah,
Like, no lie, hookah's good.
yeah.
I enjoy that. You want to know a true story? The first time I ever smoked a cigarette was probably about 4 years ago
For
as an adult.
that's wild.
As an adult. But
That's
let me tell you why. So I had a buddy who had gone overseas and he knew I liked cigars.
mm,
He brought over a pack of Cohiba cigarettes.
okay.
I didn't know it was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's a fucking cigarette. It'll probably taste like cigar tobacco. He's like, do you want to try one? I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Worst fucking mistake I ever made in my entire life.
Wow.
I smoked this shit and I didn't inhale it, but I smoked it like a cigar. Like you draw
Yeah.
the smoke into your mouth,
Yeah.
you blow it out. That shit was so fucking disgusting. After about two, maybe three draws, I couldn't get the cigarette taste out of my mouth
Wow.
for about 3 fucking hours. No matter what I did, I fucking drank Dr. Pepper, I drank fucking water, gargled fucking water. I could not fucking get that shit out of my fucking palate. It
Yeah.
was so fucking disgusting. But it was a cigarette.
Yeah. One thing that when I talk to Tony, I always talk to Tony about Chinese cigarettes because they're different. Chinese and Japanese cigarettes are much different than the crap
But
we
it's
get.
still a cigarette.
It's still a cigarette, yes. You know, but from what I believe, they use a cleaner tobacco over and
They
over.
just don't add all the fucking chemicals and shit they do in the
Exactly.
US.
Yeah. And the most frustrating part to me when it comes to like tobacco is that they lump everything together. And it's very frustrating because, you know, if they're getting rid of flavored tobacco, so what about pipe tobacco? Are they getting rid of pipe tobacco also too? Because pipe tobacco is cured. So you're telling me that people now can't sell pipe tobacco for pipes no more.
But see, the pipe tobacco and the cigarettes, here's my logic. It's easier to grab a fucking cigar
Yeah.
over someone who's like, oh, I'm gonna grab me a pipe. Because I mean, you see older men
Yes.
smoking pipes.
Yes.
So how is that gonna entice someone who's in their teens
Yep.
to grab a pipe and say, oh, I'm gonna smoke that? No.
No.
It's easier to grab a fucking cigar that has these fucking monster cookie monster fucking designs on it and all this bullshit.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not, it's like, but the problem with that is also, but you're not gonna go to a cigar shop and find a cookie monster. So for them to even try to use that is kind of it's stupid because of the fact that you have to order that from a special website in order to get something called a cookie monster.
Right. Or
So
do your research to find the shops that have it.
exactly. So to me, it's kind of a dumb argument. But you got to think about like I'm in New York. In New York, it's 75%, it's 75% in the city. That's crazy. So you have these small shops that are dying because of the fact that they can't afford people aren't going in there and paying like an $8 cigar is $15. People don't want to pay that. Every time I go to Martinez, just to stop in, show a little love to them, It's $15 a stick for just the regular, Toro.
Yeah.
And that right there is a killer. And the problem also is, no matter, even if they sell it outside, they still have to charge that 75% tax. So a box of Martinez cigars for a box of 20 is $300.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so why would I go and buy a box of Martinez cigars, even though, like, I like Martinez cigars? I think they make
Mhm.
great. I think they make amazing cigars. But it's like, okay, so I'm gonna pay, $300 when I can get two boxes for that same price, two good boxes for the same price.
Mhm.
Like, I can go online. Like, I just got a box of Oliva Master Blends for $85. Why would I go and pay $300 for one box of cigars? You can't win.
I
And
saw something that New York is trying to increase the tobacco tax to 95%. Is that true?
they're trying to make it 100%.
Fuck that bullshit.
It's not going to pass, but they're trying to counteract the fact that people have a petition to lower it. So, like, if they went from 75 to 45%, that's a huge difference for these shop owners. It's That's the difference of selling, two boxes, or however many boxes they're gonna sell. They're selling none. And so Martinez, the only way they make money is they have to make cigars for other people. Like, they're basically blenders now. They got one guy in the shop. He rolls 700 cigars a day in about 4 hours, like a machine. Boom, bam, bam, bam. When I go in there, he's rolling, and he pumps out like 700 cigars in, like, I would say maybe 5 to 6 hours, like a
On the
machine.
quality though.
Well, I would say this. So it's a very small shop
Yeah.
because it's New York City. So it's a very small shop.
Well, see, every time I see the Instagram videos, that shit's fucking packed with people.
Well, it's a lot. Honestly, a lot of Jewish people go there for the cigars. So, but they only have room for they have two seats in there. I think like two or three seats in there, but the back is like full of tobacco. So it's not like the front area is very, very small for people to walk in and buy. And if you work close by, you can always hop in, pick up something because you want something. But they also have to deal with the fact that these vape shops, like the shops that sell, like, where they make their money off of like vapes and CBD stuff like that, they don't charge tobacco tax. I don't know if it's
Well,
because
why not? Why not?
I well, because number one, I think they don't know, and also two, like, I think just having that to back that humidor, it's more of just like to say they have tobacco. I mean, to say they have cigars. So they don't care. They don't care about cigars. Their money is in selling. You know,
Fucking juices and shit.
well, yeah, like, selling stuff for vaping. Their money comes from selling CBD oils. That's where their money comes from. So they can care less. Like, when I go in there and buy a cigar, they look at me like I'm crazy. So they make their money off of buying, off of selling, like, pipes for weed, like, and they sell like bowls and hookahs. That's where they make their money at. Tobacco, like cigars, they don't care. So, like, I always tell people, I say, when you're in New York, you're better off going to a vape shop, pick up your cigars there, than going over to Monte Cristo over on 52nd Street, which is crazy. But at the same time, the government, they don't go in there and check, because at the end of they probably they're not even probably marking that as tobacco sales.
Probably not.
So for them, that's just a sell whatever, because they may sell maybe 7 cigars a month. Everything else is cigarettes, it's CBD oil, it's CBD weed, it's all that kind of stuff. That's where they make their money. So New York City, like, they're trying to make it a statewide thing. And like, this petition has been going on for over a year now for them to lower tobacco tax in New York State.
Yeah, but then now that it's going up to 95%, that's when all the fucking people want to be like, whoa, 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 we're paying too much already as it is. Well, motherfucker,
Yeah.
why didn't you fucking say something and speak up before? I mean, you got people in fucking Florida who are fighting that shit, and it's already fucking low. You got people in Texas that are fighting for that shit, and it's like 25 cents a cigar.
Yeah. So, but you got to understand too, it's New York and California have the worst tobacco tax in the whole country. And
They're
those
trying to get rid of this.
well, here's the thing. They'll tax tobacco, but they won't tax weed like that.
They won't tax weed, yeah.
They
I
won't
mean,
tax
that's really where the fucking money's at.
exactly. So what's going on?
Then your whole state stinks.
Yeah. So what's going on in New York City right now is there's a whole bunch of unauthorized weed dealership shops. So, and they don't have their license. New York State just started giving out their license. Well, New York City just started giving out the license maybe last month. So all these places were saying we're waiting for our license, we're waiting for our license. They've cracked down on maybe 18 places, locked them all up for selling weed illegally. And they like, and honestly, what the reason why they did that, in my opinion, was if you're a gang leader, what are you gonna do? All right, well, we can move weed legally now. Let's front the money for a shop. We'll sell our weed in the shop, and we can also charge that tax, because the problem came in was they weren't paying taxes on that weed, so they weren't documenting on. It's one place that I know of that's on 35th Street and 7th Avenue, and that place has been there for maybe 4 years now, with about 3 years, and they were the only place that I've known that they had their license.
Wow.
But if you go around the city, they have all these places that sell weed lollipops. So, New York State has really tried to crack down on, and like they see it, and they're like, oh well, it's messing up the city because of the fact that so many people are able just to smoke weed everywhere. Like when I go to Bryant Park to smoke, it's like 4 people up there lighting up.
It's just normal now.
It's normal now because you can't arrest anybody anymore for it. So it's a certain, like, if you're carrying around like 2 ounces, they can give you a ticket for it, but they can't lock you up.
I think here in Texas, if you have an ounce of weed on you and you get pulled over, they'll let you go.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, I think they'll ticket you. And then if you have enough on you, then they'll, of course, take you in for intention to distribute.
Yeah. So in New York City now, the way it's working is if you get caught, being high while you're driving, you get a DUI.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. So now you're getting DUIs for, driving while smoking. So if you're high and they get you, you're getting a DUI because you're driving under the influence.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy the way that just the world of tobacco is going when it comes to the changes, because like when I spoke when I spoke to Brendan says, get used to not get used to smoke to paying $10 for a cigar now. He goes, those days of $6-8 cigars are going to be gone soon, and to me it's greed.
Yep.
You know, you have a I'm not shouting. I'm not saying no names. You know, I'm not saying no names and nothing like that. But it's a certain company that you know, like they call themselves an affordable brand, but for one of their premium sticks, you're paying $20 a stick. How's that affordable? An affordable stick is something that you can buy every day.
Mhm.
That you can spend $8 to $10 on. That's something that you can afford every day because you can put that $8 aside and say, all right, you know what, like this right here is my leisure.
Right.
So, and that company and the problem there is, they're not making the big decision. It's another company making the big decision to keep raising their prices. But and it's like everything else where it's a followers league, where if one company raises the taxes, they go, oh, we can raise our taxes too. Oh, not taxes, but we can raise our price too. So your cigar was, 2 years ago, it was $9. Now it's $13.
Yeah.
But it's the same cigar. Is the quality better on the cigar? Are you gonna guarantee me if I buy a box of that, every single one's gonna be good, and five aren't gonna be bad?
No, because it's a man-made product.
Exactly. So why the price rise? You know, and well, at least for me, I feel like the cigar industry is not an industry you go into. I feel like they see a couple outliers of people of success stories, but like I would say maybe 80% of it is month to month. 80% of these companies, if they have two or three bad months, they're done. They're going bankrupt. And these
True.
and this is even big companies. So why are you raising your prices if the biggest thing is to keep moving, to keep everything flowing? So why keep raising your price? If you it's life death, because because somebody's not gonna buy it at 17, but they'll buy it at 14. You just want to move product, you know.
Yep. You're right.
So, like you're a lot more in the industry than I am. And like from
Used to be.
well, yes,
Used to be.
used to be more industry than I
I'm
am.
just a normal dude now.
Yeah, yeah. So like going from being on that side, like what were the changes that you were seeing, from when you were reviewing cigars, just as far as like what were some of the things that you were noticing changing in the industry?
um, I mean, I noticed prices going up, which is inevitable. You got fucking people fighting for fucking lowering taxes and shit. But once, like, I hate to say this, but once I was banned from YouTube, I pretty much just kind of pulled myself out.
Mm,
Like, I stopped watching cigar reviews. I stopped commenting on people's videos. I stopped following people. Like, my whole channel, along with all of my subscriptions, was just, it was gone. So I can't even go back and see who all I was subscribed
yeah,
to. Everything is gone.
yeah,
I still have my email address.
yeah.
And when I log into YouTube with that address, it says all YouTube functions are gone. And then to contact administrators.
Wow.
So I had to create a new YouTube channel that there's nothing on there,
Yeah.
but it's just so that I could
Be able to watch stuff.
go back and watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Just regular fucking YouTube, music videos, fucking whatever I want to watch, tutorials. So it just, I don't know. I just kind of pulled myself out to where I just, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a break. I'm just gonna fucking smoke through my own shit. And at the same time, I was going through uh, a hard time,
Yeah.
and I was losing motivation fast.
Yeah.
So my channel was banned in either May or June. Yeah, I think it was June because it was shortly after I had moved out of my old place. So June, fucking just done.
Yeah.
So after that, I was just kind of like, well, fuck, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Started TikTok. I did that. Didn't post much because my motivation wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then I'm just now getting back into the flow of like, okay, I've got my life I'm in a better state of mind. I'm in a better situation to where I can try something new. I've got one thing I learned from YouTube, marketing. I also learned how to create videos. I learned how to sell products,
Yeah.
how to promote products. So all that little shit that I've learned, it's not going to waste.
Yeah.
So I've got a little project I'm working on that I haven't completely announced yet, but I'm going to be opening up a new store for merchandise.
Nice.
And it's not going to be anything cigar related. Well, I mean, I might have some stuff in there like memorabilia to kind of show where I've been and then where I'm going. So I'm thinking about releasing, like re-releasing um, my original logos onto like vintage style T-shirts
Mm-hmm.
and just have that in shop. But then I'm also looking at marketing and how to basically grab ideas that are already selling, recreate it, and then resell it. So it's almost like researching an item that's selling, make it your own, resell it as your own. But you kind of have to disclaim or have put a disclaimer saying this is
Not my original idea.
similar
Yeah.
to what is already made. So since I know the marketing, I'm using my marketing experience to start a new clothing line
Mm.
that is hopefully, ultimately, going to be my new form of income.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be on the back end. Ain't nobody going to know who fucking Martin Amaya is.
Yeah.
It's just going to be me selling shit online, promoting it through a different social media, and only the people that know will know. So I'll post some shit here and there on my old Instagram,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be anything like new cigar reviews.
So, Martine, so like you have a very unique voice. So like, and I remember when I first met you, people were always saying like, you ever thought about
You fucking sound like Obama.
yeah. But like, have you ever thought about doing like voiceover?
I've had many people tell me that. Many people. And they said, you have a very broadcaster voice, was the
Yeah.
first thing that I ever heard. They said, you have a very calming broadcaster voice. Have you ever thought about doing broadcasting? Oh, fuck, no, never thought about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of is what it got me into wanting to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I was working at a rental car agency, and then I had people telling me, "Hey, I love your voice. Um, I'm gonna buy whatever you're selling me just because I like your voice." you
Yeah.
know?
Listen, man. Like that right there can definitely like it's not a lot of people that are able to have just a voice that everybody's like, damn, like that's very calming, it's very soothing. and you can make money off of it,
You're
which,
right.
you know,
So that's also, I mean, like I said, that might be something I might get into in the future. But
mhm,
it's only okay. It's kind of weird. It's like I notice my my tone of voice.
yeah,
My tone of voice changes depending on the situation.
hmm
With my YouTube channel, it was very loud. It
yeah.
wasn't very soothing, but it was very loud
Well,
and
it was energy.
exciting
Yeah.
because I was trying to entice a viewer. But it's also like when, okay, so everybody, I feel everybody who is in sales has their sales voice
hmm
versus your outside voice when you're talking to your friends.
Yeah.
So I've noticed when my sales voice is very, I've got like the informative, calming, assuring you of whatever I'm trying to sell you voice. And in a way, it's kind of helped me. It's kind of helped me because I've had people tell me that I'm great at selling. Well, yeah, it's because I kind of put myself in someone else's shoes and give them like benefits on
Yeah.
what I'm trying to sell. Um, but then with YouTube, it was just me, honestly, just me being me wanting to be loud, obnoxious,
Yeah.
talk shit,
Y- Yell at people.
yell at people, yell at fucking birds and shit flying
Yeah.
around.
You know?
But I've thought about when I'm calm doing like some sort of like voiceover broadcasting type of gig. Somebody told me that I would be really good on radio,
Yeah.
but I've also never had any sort of formal training on actual broadcasting.
Well, like it, but yeah, I understand too. Like most of the time with radio, it's a lot of reading ads.
Right.
It and it's crazy because they were talking about Tony Romo and about how Jim Nance is kind of holding up the broadcast team because he's the one that reads all the ads.
Mm-hmm.
Because even during the game, even during a football game, they're getting ads in their ear to read,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not doing any of it. And CBS was saying like, "Yo, like you're like, yeah, it's nice, it's cool that you're able to predict the plays and shit like that, but we need more from you. We got to hear more from you." And so just being able to read the ads effectively and knowing when to go to break, but you'll always have somebody in your ear if you're doing live radio as far as on a radio station. And
Right.
that's why they have the headphones on because their producers are in their ear, telling
Mm-hmm.
them what to say, topics, stats, all that stuff. Because you like they'll have the notes in front of them on bullet points as far as like, oh well, Luca dropped 60, but he dropped 60 on 40 shots. And they'll give it like, oh well, in the third quarter he did this, he did that. They'll they'll give them bullet points this way they can have like stuff that's like everything lined up because like I listen to Sean and RJ. You know that, man. Like I'm Cowboy Blue through and through. So you
Mm-hmm.
know I listen to Sean and I listen to Sean and RJ. I listen to Brian Broadus, who I think has like Brian Broadus can just run his own show by himself. You know, like if I ever go to Dallas, like and I'm able to meet Broadus, I'll go fucking crazy.
Are you gonna fanboy?
Yo, Broadus is my guy, man. I love fucking Broadus, dude. Broadus knows fucking stats to the T, players management, all that type of stuff, man. Broadus is my guy, you know. But here's the funny thing about doing voiceover. You have people on YouTube reading Reddit stories.
Right.
You know, you have people on YouTube that just sit there in their car and will read a Reddit story, and people tune into that,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll give their own little intake on the Reddit story.
Right.
They'll go, "Oh, well, I'm looking for advice." You know, they go, "Oh, well," and of course they'll call the person OP. So they say the person is like, "Oh, well, you know, his spouse is cheating on him, or he found out that his kids from Ancestry.com aren't his." You know, stuff like that. You know, and people go on Reddit and read the craziest, wildest stories,
Wow.
and they make money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's always money out there to be made. It's just it's kind of really just finding the fan base and just finding your niche.
Right.
You know, but at the same time too, man, like, you know, with your voice, like, even if we do a weekly podcast doing whatever, people might just tune into just to hear your voice.
That's true.
So
Yeah. So, hey, sorry, my dog.
that's right. He's
So,
part of the show.
huh?
No, it says it's all right. He's part of the show too, so it's all good.
Right.
You know,
I think there's
yeah.
thunder going on. It's raining here, so he's
Okay.
barking at the thunder.
Oh, yeah.
um, there's, I mean, there's maybe been one person that I've met who actually did broadcasting, and well, not broadcasting. It was he did voiceovers, and you may be familiar with him. So Patrick Legree from Half Wheel.
Okay.
He's got a very, very deep
Mm-hmm.
announcer voice.
Yeah.
Like literally, you hear this guy's voice, and he sounds like the old school football announcers.
Mm.
But he literally does voiceovers for commercials.
Wow. So
Like he does half wheel, but he also does voiceovers.
yeah. So
So that might be a fucking gig that I could get into. I don't
you
know.
know
I
what?
got to figure out and do some research.
I would honestly I would say if you have that kind of connection with him, I'll reach out to him.
Well, I don't have a connection with him. I know him because he was uh he was actually at one of our meets at in Arizona.
Oh,
He
not
stopped in. He stopped into Brandon Wells's smoke lounge,
oh, that's
and I
fine.
got to meet him.
So
But not this is on our show, on your show.
yeah.
So um, I don't know who else watching, but I don't
Well,
know. He kind of left a bad taste in my mouth or in my whatever.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just little shit he was saying,
Oh,
but little shit that I had heard about what was said about me
yeah.
when I was in the cigar industry,
Yeah. So
and that kind of left a bad. I
yeah,
was like,
but you know, but that's understandable because you know, like you never want to hear
it's a
some
rumor. I
you
don't know, but it's a rumor.
know, like, but you know, like you never want to hear somebody say, you know, bad stuff about another person. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that.
Right.
And you know, but did he do commentary for the Seattle Mariners at
I have
one
no
time?
idea.
Okay.
No idea. I just know he had he did voiceovers.
Mm.
He might have done commentary. I don't know.
So so now that you're out the game, you know, you're still on every Wednesday and Saturdays, you know, on Tony's show, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin. You know, you're still on there every Saturdays, but it's a lot different feel. And also too, like it's a whole different Martine.
Think so?
Just a little, no, just a little bit, just a little bit. No, I'll take that back because you're still yelling at people.
I'm still yelling at people.
You
I
know,
fucking talk shit to everybody. I talk shit to
yeah.
you too.
Talk shit is an understatement, all right? Talk shit is an understatement. And you know, like, while we're here, I might as well, you know, like always just give you your flowers because, you know, without you, I wouldn't have been in the Legion, even though I had to beg for 6 months.
Was it 6 months though?
Yeah, it was like 6 to 8 months. It was a while.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a while. It's been hell raising ever since. You know,
I don't know if it was 6 months.
yeah, it was a while. It was a while. But one thing, and one thing that I learned about you just from our friendship getting better, just as far as we're able to, like, we're friends offline. So it went from us being friends from just on YouTube to now, we talk pretty much, at least 4 or 5 times a month. And and learning about your love of music. So I wanted to jump into that, just as far as, you know, like, you didn't watch you did you watch the Grammys?
Nope.
So I spoke to you like a little bit before the show, just about how
Mhm.
Texas wasn't represented.
Okay.
And to me, Texas has a big part of hip hop.
I feel like Texas had a big hip hop scene,
Yeah.
but this was back when I was like teenager till about early 20s.
So my question to you is, because we spoke about Chopped and Screwed. Chopped and Screwed is more of a Houston thing.
Chopped and Screwed is a Houston thing.
So, like, in Dallas, what is, like, Dallas kind of like known for, like, as far as when it comes to rap, like, because
For rap music, there's really not a lot, to be honest with you, that I know
mm,
of. I listened to a lot of Houston rap.
mm,
I can't think of any artist. Well, I can maybe think of one, but they were more of a Hispanic, mix a little bit of Spanish in with mostly English rap. But these guys were from like, I don't know if you're familiar with Oak Cliff. So Dallas has these little sub cities in DFW. So
mm-hmm,
you've got, if you were to picture, you've got Dallas as a whole.
mm-hmm,
You've got downtown Dallas in the middle, but right over to the west of Dallas, downtown Dallas, you've got a little community called Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff was, and everybody knew Oak Cliff as the ghetto.
mm,
Oak Cliff had a lot of uh, people who tried to up and come, or like up and comers that were trying to get into rap. Like the only song that I know of, and I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's called well, they say Oak Cliff, that's my hood,
mm,
and it was one of the biggest songs. Like as soon as that song came out, everybody in the fucking club in DFW, no matter what fucking club you were at, if
no,
you were at a fucking pop club, you were at a fucking EDM club, you were at a fucking rap club. Oak Cliff, that's my hood, was everywhere.
wow,
And but before that, I grew up with South Park Mexican. I grew up with Paul Wall,
oh,
all
but,
the old school South, the Houston rappers. That's who I listen to.
mm. So, like, but isn't but Paul Wall's from Dallas? I thought he was from Houston.
I don't, I
Him
don't
and
remember.
Canadian there.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Ah, so because, like, while we're talking, I'm kind of researching, some Dallas rappers, and just like, you know,
It was
and
like early 2000s rappers
yeah.
that I listened to.
Well, so, like, the road's been around forever, because the road does music for the Cowboys, but you got, well, Big Turk. I know about Big Turk.
Never heard of him.
Wow. Well, Mr. Pookie, I don't know who Mr. Pookie is.
Mr. Pookie, I've heard of him.
Tum Tum.
I heard of Tum Tum,
Uh,
but Tum Tum was more like he was trying to do rap that would get him on the pop stations.
okay. Because because for at least for me, being from the north, like when you think of Texas rapping, you think of Scarface. Well, you think honestly, you think of a lot more Houston rappers because you think of like the Ghetto Boys. Like Ghetto Boys start was first, and then from the Ghetto Boys you got Willie D, uh, Scarface.
Scarface.
And you got yeah, how his name
I
just
know. It's like all these fucking rappers that
well
I used to listen to were like
we got
right here in the back of my head.
it's like UGK, like UGK and like I always say UGK kind of put you know Texas on the map because they did that song with Big Pimp with Jay-Z,
Okay, I
you know.
remember that one.
Yeah, and then because like the Ghetto Boys was big, but Scarface kind of became a legend by himself.
You know, I think I think for me growing up, the people who had the most influence in music for Texas rap were, of course, South Park Mexican, who you don't know who that is, um, and fuck, what's his name? It's funny because I used to listen to his shit all the fucking time. So you got Paul Wall, South Park Mexican, and then
Well, if you're gonna say Paul Wall, you gotta say Chameleon.
I never listened to Millionaire.
Neither did I, but then you had Rich Boy had a couple hits. You had Rich Boy had a couple hits. You had Webby, who was from Texas also for a little bit. You had who else
There's
was
one I'm
from that?
thinking of. I can't fucking remember his name, but I know his fucking song. 281-330-8004
Mm-hmm.
was his number. And
Mm-hmm.
you call that shit, and he would fucking talk, he would fucking have like a recorded voice line.
Wow.
Fuck, what's his name? Uh I'm sure everybody listening, if they know that song, um, tipping on fofos. Uh,
Right. Oh, that's a Slim Thug.
no, it's not Slim Thug. Um,
Tipping on full foes, riding full foes, tipping on full. That's Slim Thug. Man, yeah, that's
no. Um, Mike Jones.
Mike
Mike
Jones.
Jones.
Who?
Who? Mike
Who?
Jones.
Who?
Yeah.
Mike
Mike Jones
Jones.
was a big fucking influence on fucking rap in Texas.
Yeah.
If you don't know who fucking South Park Mexican is, you
Yeah.
know who fucking Mike Jones is.
Yeah. Who?
Mike Jones, 281-330-8004. He called it blah, blah, blah. That shit was fucking badass.
Who? Mike Jones. Wow, yo, fuck Mike Jones. Wow.
And that was on fucking Swisher House beat
Yeah,
records.
yeah, Swisher House. Yeah, man,
Yep.
Swisher House.
So pretty much everybody that was on Swisher House, that's who I fucking listened to. That was the Texas rap I
Wow.
listened to.
Damn, Swisher. Man, I haven't heard Mike Jones. Well, actually, I got Mike Jones on my playlist for my workouts, because you know, damn, man, Mike Jones. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But you went from that. Like, my question is, how'd you get into EDM, man?
No, it went from, okay, let me say this. EDM has always been my music
Okay.
before it was called EDM. before it was EDM, I was into house music,
Okay.
old school dance music,
Mm.
um, fucking trance music. Like I've got some fucking trance artists that I listened to when I was a fucking kid. Armin van Buren has
Yeah.
been a fucking DJ for well over 20 years. He started making music when he was fucking like 8 or 10, 8, 9, or 10. He had his own fucking studio and he's been creating music ever since.
So did you ever listen to like TKA and those guys too?
Uh, I don't know.
TKA
I don't
was
know who TK is.
that is like up north we call it like that was like breakdance music.
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of break beats
Yeah, like a lot of break like they were like big into like break dance and stuff like that.
and a lot of like MC rap,
Okay.
like rap that you MC over.
Yeah.
That's why I was like I was into Ice T back
Mm.
when he used to MC over music,
Yo, yeah,
Run DMC,
yeah.
but like hip hop, old school hip hop and electronic dance music was what I grew up on.
Wow. So and like so don't get mad at me, Martine. Don't get mad at me, Martine.
Here we go.
I cannot stand fucking uh mariachi music.
Mariachi music,
Yes.
it's a feeling.
You
It's
know,
a feeling,
you
bro.
know what? I like
Let me tell you this. If you ever come down to Texas,
uh-huh.
fuck Dallas. We got to go to fucking San Antonio.
Okay.
San Antonio, you go down to the fucking Riverwalk,
Yeah.
mariachis fucking playing live for you while you fucking eat a meal. And they'll fucking sing to you old school fucking mariachi songs. Um, it's, I think if you want to get a good feel for how fucking Texas culture is, like the Latin culture,
Yeah.
you go to fucking San Antonio.
Mm.
That is really where the Latin community, the feel of the Latin community is.
You know what I think, term it's all Canelo's fault.
Who?
It's all Canelo's fault, man.
Canelo.
Yeah, it's all Canelo's fault.
Canelo who?
Canelo Alvarez.
Oh.
So Canelo's fault, man. Because every time Canelo would come out the box, he had the mariachi going. You know, Canelo would have the mariachi going. I'm like, it's. But I would say this. So here's a funny thing: they will be doing mariachi on the subway in New York
On the
City.
subway?
On the subway,
Wow.
it'd be like three of them dressed up, dressed up in the outfits, fucking going.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind it back then. And then every Canelo fight, I'm just like, I can't take it. But you
You know
know,
what I like though? In in Texas, I don't know how it is in any other state. In Texas, if you are in your backyard and you fucking playing music,
mm-hmm,
you got a fucking barbecue going, it don't matter who the fuck you are. You walk by, you can be black, white, Asian, whatever. You walk by and you notice somebody who's on the other side of wherever you're hanging out.
mm-hmm,
You invite that motherfucker to come join you.
mm,
There have been many fucking stories that I've heard where black people fucking love Mexicans.
yeah,
It's
of
because
course,
you're invited like you're a fucking brother.
yeah. You know what?
You want a beer, you have a fucking beer. You want a fucking taco, fucking some ribs, whatever the fuck I got on the grill, you can have it, bro. Just come enjoy what I got to fucking offer. And people say, man, fucking Mexicans are badass. Mexicans will fucking enjoy you, invite you like you're a fucking family member, extended
Well,
family.
I that and I think Mexican culture when it comes to that, it's family. Family is humongous in Mexican culture. And
Yeah.
and if you're cool with somebody from the Mexican background, like and if and like I had a friend, you know, my boy Juan Carlos, like yo, like we're like brothers. I haven't seen him since high school, but whenever we see each other, man, it was always that dap with a hug, like, yo, what's going on? How's everything, man? You know,
Mhm.
it was family. But and know what scene kind of to me kind of epitomizes fuck you ever see Breaking Bad?
Yeah,
Did you, you see the part where the two brothers are fighting? The uncle comes over, takes them, and starts drowning both the brothers.
I don't remember that episode.
He takes both brothers and puts them under the water, and they're fighting for their life. He takes them out, and he goes, "Family's everything." At that moment, you two were fighting for each other's lives right there. It didn't matter. Family's everything. And then the uncle walked off. He's like, "Family's everything." And I was like, "Yo, that is deep. That is super deep." But but if you look at a lot of movies, Mexican movies, Blood in, Blood out, about family. Even the movie, even George Mencia's sorry ass movies was all about family, and it was about that bond. And family's everything. And I think that's the one biggest thing about Mexican culture is just like family we come together, we ride for each other, and that's what it is.
Yep,
You know, but
that's true.
so you weren't big on Mexican rap over in from LA?
I mean, I listened to a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I always, I didn't hate on California rap or California anything,
Uh-huh.
but it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was just like a different feel. Like
Yeah.
like back when you remember the fucking whole New York versus East Coast versus West Coast bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you were forced to fucking pick a side.
Yeah. And
And
that's
then you got Texas over here fucking just tipping
yeah.
on fofos, wrapped in
Yeah.
fofo,
Yeah.
tall wall. It's
Exactly.
like fuck y'all. And then they fucking bring Twista in and their Twist is like
Yeah.
it's like don't none of that fucking shit matters. You come in, you fucking have a good time. Nothing else should fucking matter.
Exactly. And that's the one thing, man. Like you want to sit, you want to have a good time, you want to enjoy time with family, you know? And that's one thing that I kind of try to still into my boys. It's like, listen, like you can have best friends, but your brother's your best friend more than anybody else. If like for me myself, like I don't let money get in the way of like I never argue with my brothers over money, over any like I'm like, listen, like if I give you $500, I don't want it back. If you give it back, I'm not gonna hound you down for it. Because at the end of the day, people let money get in the way of their bond. And it's like,
Right.
and that right there can really become something that destroys family.
That's true.
And
I've seen it personally.
yeah, but it's a perfect example in funerals. When a person dies, what's everybody fighting over? They're fighting over the will. They're fighting over money. They're fighting over the house.
True.
And it should never be that way. It's like, all right, well, so all right, well, this was left to us. This was left to us. So let's take advantage of it. Like how are we gonna use this to make our lives better as far as our legacy? And that should be the most important thing, because like if we think of Mexican culture, legacy is everything. It and you can see, and honestly, like when you think about it, like that's the same way when it comes to like Mexican soccer. Like when you're playing that team, it's pride, it's passion. Like it's about the country. It's about because you're Mexican.
Yeah,
You know, and that's what it's about.
that's right.
And I don't know, like I know I know you have kids, but I'm not sure if you have brothers or sisters. But I'm pretty sure that certain things we might have a time where you might disagree on something, but it'll never break the bond.
No, never.
You know, but you know, I think people are kind of me are kind of hear me are kind of done with me talk about my hate for mariachi music, and we can go into and one thing that I also learned about you is your whiskey selection, whiskeys, bourbons. But you know what? Let's not even go there. Let's go into something that happened last week where you recently started working for your company's race team.
Okay.
So like when did you like fall in love with cars and
So
know like that's something that you would love to get into?
so I've got a lot of passions, and I never really knew how many passions I had. Music, um, fucking cigars,
Mm-hmm.
whiskeys. Don't. I like whiskey. I
Mm-hmm.
like bourbons,
Yep.
but whiskey and well, the bourbons that I drink, I've never really got into as much as cigars. I drink bourbon. If I like a bourbon, I'll fucking buy it again. I'm not here to just drink a whiskey and be like, oh, I taste this, I taste that. No, that's what my fucking cigars are for.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
just like bourbons. If I like a bourbon, I'll buy it again. When it comes to cars, like a lot of people, and I hate to admit this because there are some people that are going to hate on me, like a lot of people who grew up in my generation, I got into cars when Fast and Furious came out.
Mm.
But it was about a year, maybe 2 years before that I was getting into the car scene. But Fast and Furious, when that came out, that was like, that's the epiphany. I love cars, blah, blah, blah. Because when I first got introduced to cars and tuning cars, I have an older cousin who we grew up. He's so my mom and his mom are twins.
Yeah.
So we're a very close knit family. Like that is my immediate family,
Mm.
not just my family and my sister. It's my family, my sister, and my cousins who are my mother and my aunts. That's our family.
Yeah.
So my cousin, he is about maybe 8 years older than me,
Yeah.
and he had a 1990 Acura Integra that was souped up. It was red, lowered. It had fucking nitrous. Um, it was all motor, but it had nitrous.
Mm.
And he had a group of friends who had they had a race team, or they had a team basically who would hang out. They'd meet up. They'd all have a bunch of cars come over. I'm like, man, these cars are nice. I like these cars. And I was probably about maybe 15 when I first started getting into cars or started noticing, hey, I like these cars. What kind of cars are they? I want to learn more about them. And they all had fucking imports, Civics, Integras, little old school Nissans. And then I started learning about cars. I mean, I was still in middle school and I was learning about cars. So I figured out, oh, well, you do this and you'll make your car faster. Okay. And then Fast and Furious came out. I'm like, whoa, you do that and you do make your car really fucking fast. So uh first car I ever bought was a 1987 Honda CRX SI. It was already painted and it had a body kit. That's all that was done to it. It was the first generation Honda CRX before the well-known second generation came out. And that was the car. That was the car. I learned fucking how to drive a stick. And I took that little fucker racing, ultimately blew the engine. And then I went and bought me another fucking car. I went and bought me a Acura Integra that was already modified. It was lowered and it had an exhaust.
Mm.
So it's just from there on out, I bought cars. I started modifying cars, and almost every car I've had, I've done something to.
Oh wow.
So cars and tuning have always been just fun to me. It's almost like a therapy too. It's like you get a car and you show it off and talk about cars. Go to car meets.
Yeah.
Go to racing. Go to fucking street racing.
Oh man, street racing. Oh, forget about it, man.
So street racing is how I started. I'll tell you this: street racing, I got in trouble a lot. I lost my license. I went to jail for racing, and then in my 20s, I just kind of calmed down a little bit. I still had my little tuner car, um, and then come full circle, I was there was an opportunity for me to be a part of my dealership's race team.
Mm.
And now I've been to Sonoma, California, to the Sonoma Raceway. I've been down to Austin to Circuit of the Americas. And then I've been to Daytona Beach for the Daytona International Speedway. And I'm just now it's like an all new high because I went from street racing to drag racing and I always watched like road racing, but now I'm there and it's like fuck man, this is like a new thing that I love doing. It's like I love watching cars fucking go fast around a fucking track. It's fucking fun, dude. It's adrenaline and I love it.
So how was just the 20, like there was a 24-hour race there, correct?
There was. I missed that one though.
Okay.
So I was at Daytona Beach when they were doing the 24-hour, but the race that we were in it was basically called the Roar before the 24.
Okay.
So the Roar before the 24, you had the MX-5s, the Miatas,
Okay.
and the MX-5 Cup, which were fucking amazing. If you ever get a chance, go watch some of the reruns. They're on Peacock of the MX-5 races. They are fucking intense at Daytona because you have to be a skilled driver. These cars are all same fucking horsepower. It's basically the same fucking car, same exact fucking car, but the driver is really what makes the car.
Exactly.
Because around this track, I don't know if you know anything about Daytona. Around this track, you have really high fucking banks where your car is like going at an angle around this whole fucking track. And you're getting a shit ton of fucking speed. But in these Miatas who don't have a lot of horsepower, you are basically drafting. You know what drafting is?
Yeah.
Drafting is when you come up behind a car that is in front of you and you are picking up speed because you have less drag on the car. So you are on a car and you're going faster because you don't have the resistance of the air that's coming at you. It's coming at the car that's in front of you. So you are basically picking up speed until you break that draft and then you get fucking pushed back. So these little Miatas are fucking going at it in a fucking line. You got 5 cars deep that are all in this one car's draft, and then they try to overtake you in specific spots.
Mm-hmm.
But once you break that drag, it's like these cars that are behind you now are in yours. So you're like picking up speed, losing speed, picking up speed, losing speed. But that, if you can watch that, the first and second race of the MX5 Cup,
Mm.
it's fucking intense. It was a great fucking race.
You know what's very interesting? Like, the first time I ever heard about drafting was over in Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
That's where you learn to draft.
yeah,
Learn that, all right, like I got to be behind this car. I'll pick up speed, and then on this turn right here, I'll just cut on the inside, try to get the inside lane, and cut them.
right.
You know, which is crazy because
Yep.
like you always wonder why, like in perfect example NASCAR, why those cars are always behind each other, and they go, oh well, he's about to make a move. They go, what move he's about to make? Like he's like, and you don't understand that, like they could be very very close, but as far as they're going the same speed, like he has a split second, he has to time it perfectly in order for him to take that car. If he just do
Right.
it at the right time, he comes out early, he's gonna stay right behind. He has to time it perfectly to be able to, when that car slows down just a smidge, to cut around it and keep that speed for a few seconds. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remain that speed for a few extra seconds just to get around. You
I'll tell
know?
you what. So learning about fucking racing from Gran Turismo and all these other road. I used to watch the SCCA.
Mm,
Learning about all that shit. I actually drafted. I was on the highway. I had my little Acura Integra, and there was a car who wanted a fucking race.
oh
I'm
wow.
like, all right, we'll race. But it was a faster car than mine.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I actually drafted a guy on the highway.
Wow.
We went from 100 to about 145. And I was behind him drafting and drafting. And I'm picking up speed slowly but surely until I was able to cut into another lane, overpass him,
Yep.
took him by a car length before he slowed down. So I cut my draft, and then I start inching past him, and I'm already going about 145.
Mm.
And then as soon as he saw that, oh, I'm a car length in front of him in the next lane,
He
he
gave up.
braked, he
Yeah.
gave up. So it was kind of like a video game moment, but it
Wow.
was scary as fuck at the same time because I'm going this fucking fast in a little Acura Integra.
Dude, if you would hit a bump, oh, forget about it. You know what? That's
That shit was fun though, man.
I would say this. If you were in New York City on the fucking JFK, you'd have been in the fucking Hudson River.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like the highways up here are just fucking awful.
Yeah, I
You
believe
know?
it.
So and like in Texas, 70 is the limit. You know, like you could fucking floor it. So
70 is the suggested speed.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody does 80, 90.
Exactly. So
Let me tell you one story. Have you ever been drag racing or street racing?
of course. So like in New York City, we got like Hunts Point. We would go to. So we go to Hunts Point. We would go out to a spot out in Rockland County called out in in Spring Valley, and you know, like we will always go to the city, and there'll be certain areas in the Bronx that you will go to, and they'll do drag races there.
Yeah.
And then they had a spot in Brooklyn called the Flatlands. So the Flatlands used to be a they I believe it's the story of the Flatlands used to be where it used to be actually like an airport. So they called it Flatlands because like it was just
Where the planes took off.
planes to go off. So it was just flat.
Flat.
It was perfect for drag race.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
you know what the one thing is I remember fucking going there and people would try to get out and destroy each other's cars. Because once NYPD would come, people didn't care. They were just trying to get up out of there. People cars would get fucking smashed up.
Yep.
And the crazy thing was, one guy that I knew, he got caught. And so what he did, he became a fucking informant. So when we would have when it was time to do the street racing, he would go and tell the cops. And then that's when everybody would just go up and fucking smash into each other, all types of wild stuff. But the thing too was, the cops they didn't want to catch anybody. They just wanted you to get up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So like everybody's panicking, and they got and mind you, I'm like 18, 19. So at the time, I'm like, yo, why are you running for? I'm like, listen, yo, take your time this way, because I wasn't driving it. I wasn't driving at the time. So I'm like, yo, take your time. This way your fucking car don't get smashed up and hit. And my boy was like, yo, he's like, all right. Next thing you know, he goes, yo, that's that. He's like, yo, that's crazy. Like, normally I'm swerving through cars. I'm like, nah, just fall in line. Fall in line. Don't worry about it. Cause we would just go from one spot to the next in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go from Hunts Point. We'll go from Hunts Point down to like, probably like City Island. And you would see cars, and then cars would be racing on the through the Throgs Neck. You'll see, and every weekend somebody would get into an accident. Some kid totals his car. You know.
Yep. Or cars break.
Yeah. Oh, well, because you gotta understand too. Like the thing was, in a Civic, what do you do in a Civic? You put a fucking new engine in there. Yeah. What was the engine that fit into that little fucking hatchback?
So there were people who actually did a lot of V6 swaps in the Civics.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people who actually stayed Honda, and they put bigger engines from a Honda into their little Civics.
And blow the fucking car out. That car will last 6 months, and it'll be fucking done. That engine will last 6 months and be done. My boy he had an 88 he had a 91 hatchback, which was supposed to be like the best version of a hatchback.
Okay, so a little Civic Si.
Yeah. So he had a 91, and every 6 months he was dropping 7,000 to swap to because his engine will fucking blow out.
Wow.
And of course he'll put turbo in it.
Well, yeah, if you're fucking putting forced induction in it with the fucking stock internals, you're gonna fucking blow the motherfucker up.
Exactly. So
or nitrous, which a lot of people did.
Oh my god, nitrous was the worst.
So, have you ever drag raced your car?
So well, up here I don't have a car, so but
Okay.
I've been in. My best friend had he used to go up and put nitrous in his car, all that dumb shit, and plenty of times like, thank God I was never in the fucking car when he would use that shit, because I was telling him like, yo, not tonight, not tonight. And well, there was a few times where we had to go up where his ex-girlfriend would be chasing us all through the fucking city. Like we would go out looking for chicks, and like we'll be getting back into New Rochelle, and we'd be like, I'm like, yo, he'd be like, yo, I'm like, yo, that's a car. Yo, hitting 90 on the fucking main road. Zoom, yeah, and she's right behind us. Like we're gunning, and she's fucking going. Like she could have been a fucking stock car race how fast. Like she was going fucking in and out. Like she was fucking drifting behind us.
Right.
You know, and knowing her crazy ass, she would have bumped the car and fucking had us fucking spin out and fucking, like, if my boy didn't lose her, fucking she would have fucking hit the car and fucking had us fucking spinning like 18 times, fucking going to the hospital and shit.
Yep. So, let me tell you a little story. There was, so I talked about the Mazda Miatas or the MX-5 Cup at Daytona.
Yep.
So there was a buddy that I used to work at. This was back when I first started getting into the car industry. I worked at a little oil change shop. This little Asian guy had a fucking red Miata.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, it's a Miata. They're slow, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, here's the key. Go drive it. I'm like, what?
Mm.
Yeah, go drive my car. Go drive my car like you would normally drive your car. Take a couple turns real fast and tell me what you think about it. I drove it. I was like, oh, this is a bitch car, man. He's like, okay, drive it. I drove it. I came back. Man, this car is fun. He's
Mm.
like, okay, now you understand what a Miata is all about. Because you basically have a stiff suspension on this little bitty ass car, not very much horsepower. You have about 98 horsepower to the wheels,
Mm.
but this car can take a turn like a fucking race car. So that is really what started my love about the Miatas. And in my life, I've had two Miatas. I had the first generation and I had a fourth generation. But let me tell you this. So in my first generation Miata, that was what sold me. I went and I fucking bought me a Miata. Took that motherfucker drag racing, and everybody made fun of me. They're like, "Oh, little kid in a bitch car." It was bone stock, nothing done to it. Took it out to the fucking street races. They lined me up next to a Mitsubishi 3000 GT. You know
Wow.
what that is?
I don't know
So,
cars.
so
And
it's a V6 car. It's heavy, but it's fast. So they line me up against this car that has twice, maybe more horsepower than mine. I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to fucking win. They're like, all right, we got you, because I was known
yeah.
in that in the street racing scene as, oh, this kid, he's always out here fucking racing. So I made friends, and they're like, all right, I got you. We're gonna help you out. I'm sitting in the fucking car, getting ready to fucking take off, and they're like, so this is what you're gonna do. When you're gonna fucking rev it, fucking redline it,
Mm.
and then you fucking floor it. You just keep going. And I'm like, all right, what's gonna happen? My friends, they call over. He calls over two other guys. I'm like, what the fuck? They sit on my fucking trunk. Three big guys sit on my trunk. Okay, so the back of the car is sitting like this, right?
Yeah.
The guy who's flags us down. I'm revving. I pop the fucking clutch. My car goes trip. Boom. I had no fucking like tire spin at
Yeah.
all, because you had these fucking 200-pound guys,
Yeah.
600 pounds of weight on the fucking back end of my car.
Yeah.
Rev the motherfucker up, pop the clutch, skirt, boom. I left that fucking 3000 GT. I could not fucking see him. He was gone. And
So,
everybody was like, oh, fucking little Miata took him.
so
That's
my
like
whole
one of these stories that I have that has always been in my fucking head. It's like
so,
I got friends that are gonna fucking help me out in my little bitty ass piece of shit car, and then I fucking end up winning that race over a car that's much faster than mine.
so what was the whole myth of the Skyline?
The Skyline was a car that you could never get in the US. That's why. That's what it was.
Mm.
So the Skyline was not available until the R35, which was well past its popularity. I'll say that.
Mm.
So the Skyline is an all-wheel drive twin turbo V6 car.
Mm.
Fast as fuck. Super fast as fuck. But you can never get in the States.
I believe that. Hold on.
So,
So I got somebody coming in.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
There we go. There we go.
All right, the show's over,
Bundled up
guys. I'll
too.
see y'all tomorrow. Hold on, I gotta get my charger though, for real.
Yeah. So we'll consider this like after hours.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on. So, like, I was about to finish my cigar, and
race
then all of a
car.
sudden,
Yeah. So did you race cars, Tony, back in the day?
I raced a car. Yes, I raced so much. I actually see one of my friend's car flip over in front of me.
Oh man.
So guys, if you don't know, this right here is Tony, the soy sauce assassin. And so now we have we're gonna call this one the after show episode of Big Guilty Cigars. So I hope you guys enjoy this segment right here. So
The after party.
The after
After
party.
party, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna call this the after party.
Cool.
Yep. So we were talking about Martine's racing days back in the day and how